Okay, I think today's topic might be too serious for this music. It's so goofy. We'll turn that off for a little bit. I think I'm falling apart slightly faster than I'm growing. That's a seemingly profound line I wrote at one of the lowest points of my life. My goal today is to show you guys why I had that thought process and what changed in my life that resulted in me thinking differently. The music sounds goofy for this, but we're just gonna roll with it. I used to cut myself around 5 to 6 years ago. It's not something that I'm proud of. It's also something that I'm not embarrassed to talk about anymore. There's a lot of reasons that this happened, not the least of which being an undiagnosed anxiety disorder that had been affecting me since I was very little. High school is a very emotional time for pretty much everybody, with our body trying to have to balance growth and hormones like a toddler trying to balance on a wooden plank. I had a lot on my plate, trying to get A's in classes, attempting to make varsity sports teams somewhat successfully, and trying to keep my social and dating life at the same time. I'm sure you already guessed what I'm about to say. That's a lot to stack on one person. And I also know that I'm not the only person that's ever dealt with a lot of stress. I think I chose this specific output for stress relief because it felt very real, and because I was a very attention-seeking person. A lot of people hate on others who cut themselves for attention. I want to remind you that any cutting or self-harm is a reason for someone to get help, especially if that reason is seeking attention and validation from others. Speaking of getting help, I got pretty lucky when I was a junior in high school. An anonymous person from my wrestling team had apparently talked to our school counselor about my habit, and he pulled me out of homeroom one day to chat with me about stuff. I remember shaking so hard that I could barely speak, and ended up agreeing to go to counseling for a few months after a short chat. Okay, how we doing here? How's OBS running? Is it doing fine? I think it's okay right now. Now, I will say, not everybody gets to meet a counselor that can actually help them with their specific condition on the first try. I got very lucky and got to talk to one of the coolest guys I know for those few months, and he helped me an infinite amount with starting my own coping mechanisms for speaking to other people, girls my age, and adults that I may have been scared of. I will admit, I wasn't honest enough with my counselor about how bad my anxiety and condition actually were, but it at least helped me with starting better habits and helped me stop self-harm almost immediately because he helped me rationalize my actions more. Alright, now I want you to remember that just because I personally was able to stop my harmful habits and start working towards balancing my inner emotions out does not mean that this is easy or even in the picture for a lot of people. I want this video to bring awareness to what a lot of people have to go through daily. So let's talk a little about anxiety. I was informally diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder by my counselor when I was in between sophomore and junior year. There are 4 levels of GAD: minimal, mild, moderate, and severe. I had a 21 out of 21 on the test he had me take, which essentially meant, yeah, you're struggling and you need to talk to someone about this now. People are gonna ridicule my BTD6 skills in the comments here. Completely accept this. Obviously, I am quite garbage at this game. So this is obviously not the only known anxiety disorder out there. There's a lot of disorders that are very common among teenagers and young adults that involve anxiety, depression, eating, and so much more. There were a lot of people around me that struggle with these kinds of things, but I never heard about it because I was so stuck in my own sad little world of selfishness and pity partying. This led me down some more dangerous routes, like taking my anger out online on other people, or blaming other people for my own faults. It really, really pains me to see other people blaming women for things that aren't their fault, especially because I know at some point I made the exact same ridiculous mistake, simply because one person made my life a little worse for a small amount of time. I hope I've mentioned this before, but men, women have it really, really hard. They have a right to say no to you, and they are not the cause of your problems. They don't deserve to be blamed for things that are clearly caused by our corrupt patriarchy and class system. And that's the bare minimum level of respect. Specific people in our lives may have been cause for grief or pain, but that doesn't mean we should generalize an entire group of people as the root of our problems. All of us struggle in one way or another. It's important to reach out and to be communicative with one another, especially in times where we feel down. I'll dive more into depth with this in a bit, but I want to bounce back to the quote I started this video with. Here it is again for you. Why did I feel this way? Well, I feel like I should explain it like this. There's a certain sense of dread that accompanies the thoughts that I had, no matter how positive or neutral they were. Anytime something went right, my mind floated to the opposite. What could go wrong? This mindset happened right after the worst situationship I have ever experienced. Sorry, I'm laughing because it's kind of hilarious looking back at it, and because I just realized that may have to be a video for a different time. Maybe not. Lots of emotions were floating through my brain at this time, and I had no clue how to deal with them. And honestly, there's no good way to solve this kind of mentality within yourself other than time. Well, keep in mind, I'm not an expert, and this is just what worked for me specifically. A couple of years after this sob story part of my life, I realized that I was wearing scars that weren't actually there anymore, in both a literal and a metaphorical sense. I had new coping strategies, new friends, new connections, and new ways to let out my thoughts and emotions. I'm gonna throw in some examples here, because I'd like to possibly give you guys some ways out of this hole I found myself in. Example number 1, nerd out. Shout out to my amazing sister for getting me into Dungeons and Dragons. D&D has been another wonderful way to express my creativity in a form of role-playing. I'll be honest, I don't play the game or DM with the intent of tryharding or beating a hard set of bosses or anything like that. Sitting down and being somebody else while screwing around with friends for a few hours is just a really nice way for me to relax, forget about life's constant noise, and just be stupid and silly so my friends can enjoy their time as well. Example 2. Create art. Write songs, make beats, draw, sketch, paint, code a game, write poems. Do something that lets you put your emotions on a page or screen or in your ears. This has helped me feel seen and heard, infinitely more than posting dumb and sad stuff on a Snapchat story, just hoping for someone to reply and ask what's wrong so I can vent. P.S. This is not in the script, but I deleted Snapchat a while ago. It was one of the best decisions in my life. I'm not saying this to be one of those people, but definitely consider it. Okay. Example 3 finally connects to where I left off with communication. Go outside. Talk to people in your classes, in your job, on Discord, or in video games you play. Humans seek interaction, and I can absolutely say this is true, even as an introvert. Creating things for yourself can help, but talking to others and creating things for them to see can be so extremely helpful. I think the whole idea of a male loneliness epidemic has been very misconstrued, and I often see blame for this being put on women. Like I said before, and I will continue to say, women are not to be blamed for your problems. A large reason men feel lonely in this day and age is because a lot of us are trained to not speak up for ourselves and our emotions, because it's seen as fragile masculinity. I will tell you right now, letting your emotions be known to close friends who you are willing to confide in is one of the most masculine things you can do. Communicating your feelings in a calm and confident way is also a great example for men that are younger than you. Keep in mind, no person should ever have to hold the weight of their own thoughts and emotions as well as another person's at the same time. So, this is a great reason to find a group of friends who you are very willing to be very real with. No untrained person is going to be able to be your personal counselor, so for a lack of better words, spread the love. Show your friends you're not afraid to be yourself, and that will give them so much more confidence to be their real selves right alongside you. Communication is very healthy. I'm always very happy to answer questions or just listen to thoughts or ideas here in the comment section or on Discord. Like I said before though, I'm not a trained professional in pretty much anything I've talked about. I really am just a guy that uses YouTube as a journal, in a way. Oh, there it is. Okay. After this, I can finally do the outro. That being said, please take care of yourself tonight, and come back to this video if you ever need reassurance for these things. Your emotions are validated, your thoughts and feelings matter. Never be afraid to be yourself. I don't really have anything else, I guess. Thanks for taking time out of your day to listen to me out. You genuinely have helped me feel better and feel more validated. And P.S. I didn't write this in, I'm sorry. To the ladies who are watching this, I promise I care a lot about you guys as well. I feel more like I am able to relate to dudes, because I am one. So keep in mind, I love you guys too. You're so amazing. Beautiful, you're doing a great job, and sorry, I know this one was more focused on dudes in a way, so I don't know, I kind of just repeated what I said. I love all you guys, you're all amazing, the entire audience, boys, girls, in between, whatever. Yeah. Have a great day, guys.